Hello, Facebook. Facebook. No, this is not Facebook. Hello, YouTube. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My Dark Knights. This is the Batbran, and welcome back to our NFL, my weekly NFL week pre or review. If you do enjoy this, please go ahead, hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And also share this video to your NFL friends, your fans. Do some trash talk down in the comments down below, down in the chat. Or just talk about what your thoughts were about this week. Now, this week was a little interesting. The overtime games again this week were in force, and I want to talk about a certain game later that frustrated the crap out of me. Let's just say a lot of profanities were yelled at the television. And a game that kind of really surprised me, which I'm going to get into here in a little bit too. But I basically want to start off talking about the Chicago Bears game against the Miami Dolphins. What the heck, Chicago? Me as a Bears fan, I'm just what the heck? How can we go from 3-1? We had 2 weeks to prepare for these stinking idiots, and Osweiler is the quarterback, which should have been a destruction, and we just let them go up and down the field. Brock is not the man. Brock is the devil, okay? Brock is this team's kryptonite. I swear to God, every time this stinking idiot who thinks he's a pro quarterback walks onto the football field against my Chicago Bears, he goes out and has a great stinking game and looks like Peyton Manning. Huh? No. No, bitch. No. You are not who you think you are. Brock Osweiler is who we thought he was. Okay? And we let him off the hook. And Frank Gore, of all people, Frank Gore runs wild on this defense. And I think it was because Khalil Mack did get injured a bit, and he wasn't himself for the rest of the game, but he played through it. He played through the whole game, so must not have been that serious. But I honestly think typical trap game. You're looking ahead to next week against the Patriots, a big game to prove that you are one of the best teams in the league. Fumbles did kill the Bears, and their own almost at their goal. But I'm gonna get into that too. Like that was, I mean, and then they looked ahead. They really did look ahead because the Patriots next week, they're coming in here. I think it's a home game. They're coming into Soldier Field. It should be a great game, obviously, and a chance to show that they are a great team. And they just overlooked the Dolphins because they looked terrible in the 2 weeks prior, and they thought this week would just probably be easy. And Albert Wilson rubbed his nutsack all over him, and so did Frank Gore. But yes, Clint, you are right. The fumbles did kill the Bears. They were in their one, and they fumbled twice, I think. 2 goal line fumbles. You can't do that. That's a win, baby. We could have won right there. If we would have held on to that football, we would have won. And we also had one Jordan Howard fumbled at the goal line. Tariq Cohen fumbled at the goal line. And I think one of the wide receivers fumbled as well. But we can't do that. We can't. A team like that cannot win football games if you turn that football over like that. And you can't. You got to hold on to the ball. But Tariq Cohen looked fantastic. I honestly think he's going to be the starting running back if he keeps playing the way he's playing against good quality teams over Jordan Howard. And Mitchell Trubisky. Say what you will about Mitch, but look at his numbers. He didn't turn the ball over a lot. I think he only had 1 pick, and that pick wasn't his fault. He had a great quarterback rating. He threw 3 touchdowns, and the game before the bye, he threw 6. So he's growing in front of your eyes. He's looking like a great quarterback each and every single week. And I think this Bears Patriots game next week is going to be better than what most people think because I think they're going to redeem themselves from last week. They're going to play much better than what they did last week. Hopefully, because last time the Bears played the Patriots, it was unbearable to watch for me and for a lot of Bears fans around the world. Um, and for Patriots fan, it was fun to watch. Yeah, screw the Patriots. But I'll get it later because they had a game Sunday night, and I can't wait for next Sunday because if they play the way they did against the Chiefs, that defense, I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have another shootout. We're gonna have a shootout on our hands. Which in a fantasy, if you got a Bears player, you got a Patriots player, play them all in their matchups because that defense sucks. Especially, and it's gonna be a shootout, obviously. But anyway, the other game I wanted to talk about was the Dallas Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was the probably most surprising game of the week for me. I said it even to my father, who is a humongous Dallas Cowboy fan, and even to my best friend who's in the chat, Clint. And I told him, hey, Jags are going to pummel the Dallas Cowboys. They don't have a chance. They don't stand a chance. It's not going to happen, my man. They're going to lose. With that defense, Dallas coming off a really bad game offensively the week before. And I was just thinking, they're not going to do that good. And then the game started. And Dak all of a sudden became this next second coming of Michael Vick and had the most rushing yards he's ever had in his career in a game and threw the ball fantastic, and Brent Maher suddenly wasn't missing kicks. That guy, and also, that guy's on fire right now. Brett the triple threat Maher. Money Maher. Okay? That kid, people are forgetting about Dan Bailey real quick. If you hit kicks like that, and hit like 5 or 6, I think he had four field goals and 4 extra points, I think. Because the only reason why I know that is my dad had him in fantasy, and I just looked a little bit ago. And he got over 21 points in him on him for fantasy. 21! How do you even get any points from a freaking kicker? Because, Ryan Suckup, he's such a good stinking kicker. He's such a good kicker. He's had great points all season. He goes out and does 0. Now, that was because Baltimore pummeled him. Baltimore didn't give him any chance to get anything on the field. And it was pouring down rain all the game. So and Tennessee's got a terrible offense. I don't even know how they're even in the division race right now, but they're in a division race. And I don't know how that's possible. But back to the Dallas game. Zeke, fantastic yet again. He's taken over. He's slowly creeping up that rushing leader list, and I think right now he is leading the league in rushing. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I think he is now. I think he is the league leader. But Jacksonville, terrible. And part of the reason why Dallas destroyed Jacksonville was because Blake Bortles sucked again. And how, if you're Jacksonville, do you not go pick up a quarterback in last year's draft? You were regretting it right now because you have no one to turn to. And Blake Bortles is sucking real bad. The last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think. 3 weeks, he has sucked. And he's missing receivers, and TJ Yeldon he's doing, but he can't. He's no Leonard Fournette. I'm sorry. And when you have the defense out there, the Cowboys had the defense, the Jacksonville's defense out there, almost the whole first half, because the offense for Jacksonville was so bad. That's always a good sign. That's always trended up. And every time they had the ball, it looked like they were scoring. They were scoring. And honestly, I would say this: if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, just keep throwing it to Cole Beasley, man. He is your best target. He is your best wide receiver. Throw it to him any chance you get, and then if it doesn't work, throw it to Zeke out in the flat, because Michael Gallup had a great catch, had a fantastic catch. It's too bad they didn't give him a touchdown. Give him the sauce. Yes, he had the whole stinking bottle. He had the whole bottle on Sunday because he had like six, 7 catches for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had the whole freaking bottle on Sunday, and I honestly think I think Dallas is gonna play Washington next week. It's always, but this is what I'm thinking. The way the Dallas season going, it's a roller coaster. As I said in the beginning, they lost the game before. They win this one. Watch them lose this one. I guarantee it. Watch them lose this game against Washington. And then they'll win next week, and then they'll come back down. it's. I honestly think this is the season we're gonna have. Nick Bosa is leaving Ohio State to focus on NFL career. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna do real well for him, considering the scouts are gonna look at you. I mean, I understand Leonard Fournette did it. He sat out his whole senior year, I think, to make sure that he could just focus on the NFL. But Nick Bosa is, I mean, he needs to be out there. He's not an offensive player like Leonard Fournette. He's a defensive player. He should be playing. And honestly, Ohio State in college, they're going to suffer from it. They really are going to suffer from it because he's your best defensive player, and you take him away. Now watch, Ohio State is going to lose. Probably not this week, but the next week because I think this week they face Nebraska. Yeah, that's a definite win. But wouldn't it be hilarious? An 0-6 team who doesn't have a win yet comes in and beats Ohio State. That would be nuts. And honestly, sweet revenge to Penn State. That's what they deserve. Um, anyway, back to the NFL. Um, there are some other intriguing games that I found interesting as well, other than um, those 2 games. But yeah, Dallas looked good. But once again, you can't read too much into it because um, this is the way their season looks like it's going. To someone who's observing it, that's what I see. But I mean, but then again, in the division they're in, Giants are sucking right now. I mean, yeah, they got Saquon, but Saquon can't do everything. Eli Manning sucks. Odell Beckham's threatening to leave, even though he just got a contract. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. But and then you have the Washington Redskins, who did win against the Carolina Panthers, which is a good quality win. And that defense looked really good against Carolina. They held Cam Newton led the team in rushing. They held Christian McCaffrey to nothing on the ground. I think about 50 some yards. That's nothing for Christian McCaffrey, and that's shows really good stuff for defense. Now, and then you have the Eagles, who I think are Washington's leading the division, and Dallas, and I think there's a 3-way tie right now, along with the Jacksonville's division with the Texans, Titans, and Jags. How the Texans, with the crappy start, is in a division race right now is beyond me, and the Titans too. Even the Jags, that whole division right now has been very, very disappointing. The Seattle Seahawks played a game in London also against the Oakland Raiders, and let me just say this. John Gruden, you are a freaking genius. Okay? I know exactly what you're doing. You're tanking on purpose because you want the number 1 overall pick. I know, and that shouldn't even be allowed in sports. I think that's stupid. The only thing I've ever heard that done in is in the NBA, and I think they were thinking about putting down some stuff on them for intentionally tanking, because they want. I mean, it's good for business. You want your teams to be good. You want your teams to be competitive. You want them to go out there and actually perform, and the Raiders look like hot garbage. Let's be completely honest. And also, but Gruden looks like a genius because you go out there and First of all, Seattle absolutely crushed them. But first of all, you get the pick for Khalil Mack from the Bears for the next 2 years. First round pick for the next 2 years. Plus, you have your first all over pick because it's probably going to be the number one overall because of how bad you suck. Then there was a report that came out after they lost that they want to trade Carl Joseph, their number one draft pick, I think from 2 years ago, who was a first round draft pick, and Amari Cooper. Okay, Amari Cooper. They want, and I read up, they want a number one, they want a first round draft pick of Amari Cooper. Dallas needs a wide receiver. I know this is crazy, but Dallas may go do it. May go do it. I don't know how crazy Jerry Jones will be to go get him, but I think he'll do it. Now, Carl Joseph, I think he's only worthy of a second, third rounder, but still, that's some great picks. So think of this way. If they get a first rounder for Amari Cooper, that's a first rounder this year. So the three first rounders. Oh my God. They probably have all these second rounders, and I'm guaranteed John Gruden's not done. He's not done. His goal is he's going to tank. He's going to tank his whole team. He's going to get rid of players he doesn't like, and he is going to rebuild the draft and create his own team. Because they're going to Las Vegas, I think, next year. Yeah, I think they're going to Vegas next year. So I think his whole plan is just, he's a genius. I know, I guarantee that's what he's doing. Because he intentionally is trying to tank so he can rebuild, pick his own players, and get the top tier players as a nucleus for his team he's building for the next 10 years in Oakland. So I honestly think Derek Carr is established, but you need an O-line around him. You need wide receivers, first of all. Running back, I'm sorry, Marshawn Lynch isn't the answer. But still, if Marshawn Lynch has a good line, he's proven he's a good running back. But I honestly think Gruden's going to get rid of him too. I really do think he's going to get rid of him too. And the defense needs a complete and utter retool. Pathetic to watch. But that's enough of that. Anyway, another game that went on, the Chargers absolutely destroyed the Cleveland Browns. This Chargers team, I think since they started the season slow, started out 1-1 or 1-2 or something, they have been on fire, and this team looks good. This looks like the team I picked to go into the playoffs and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and I still think that they can. Melvin Gordon looked good with 3 touchdowns. Phillip Rivers was throwing the cover off the ball again, and they have so many weapons. Tyrell Williams, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Travis Benjamin, and if there's reports that Hunter Henry could come back before the end of the season, if that's true, they're going to be very good offensively, and defensively they're moving back up there too. So you always have to be looking out for them too, because you got Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, very good defense. So, and their secondary is very tough to beat. But anyway, moving on to another game I wanted to discuss. Let me think of what it was. I talked about how the Buffalo Bills lost to the Texans. Texans are still in that. Titans lost to the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens was a clinic. But the Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. What a game that was. What a game that was, back and forth. I honestly think it's going to be the two of them for that division going forward. And the Bengals, I honestly thought they were going to get that. And at the end of the game, I thought they got it. Joe Mixon scored that touchdown. I thought, well, this game's over. They're going to win. But then I forgot, Ben Roethlisberger moving down the ball and down the field. But still, they were running out of time, and I'm like, this game's over. They're not going to do anything. And then that breaking coverage, and Antonio Brown runs in for that 30-some, 40-some yard touchdown. Game over. And first of all, if you're a coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, what were you thinking? Okay, what were you thinking? Because you let Antonio Brown's the best player on the Steelers, hands down, and you know a good wide receiver, no matter what size they are, you double cover them. I'm telling you right now, I would have double covered him, put a safety over top, and dropped everyone back in coverage at least 20, 30 yards, and at least near the end zone, and they didn't have any timeouts, so you knew they were going to lose. Like, what were they gonna, if they caught it? Or give them the catch and then let them move down the field. What are they going to do? And then what I would have did was then double cover Juju, and then double cover, and then just have a 3-man pass rush. I mean, you know Ben's going to have all the time in the pocket for that anyway, so why rush the quarterback there? But it is what it is, but Cincinnati still has a half-game lead on them in the division. I believe so. I think. But with Baltimore winning, that division's still wide open. And I'm telling you what, I mean, the Steelers have a bye next week, so we'll see what happens next week. With Bengals will probably win their next game, I'm sure. I think, I forget who they play next week. I think they play I forget who they play. I know it's a decent matchup, but anyway, then the Rams and Broncos. Rams stay undefeated, 5-0, or 6-0 now, 6-0, to defeating the Broncos. Todd Gurley destroyed that defense, and honestly, that's the hole in the Denver Broncos defense. Rushing. You run on them, you're going to have a good day in the run game. And that's their weakness defensively, to be completely honest. And they found it because Todd Gurley ran for over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jared Goff didn't even have to do anything. But I think they're going to get their first loss soon because they're losing offensive weapons. Cooper Kupp went down with a really nasty ankle injury. And I was pretty sure he tore his ACL.